Bang bang MMA gang. Now in today's video I play matchmakers. I tell you who the top fighters from UFC Denver should fight in their next fight. You can call me Baby Dana White for this episode. Starting off, we have Thug Rose Namajunas. I think Thug Rose should fight Valentina Shevchenko. Now, people are like, what? How does that make sense? Word around town, Valentina Shevchenko does not want to fight at UFC No Chase. She wants to fight at another location or another date. I think they're going to go with Alexa Grasso versus Manon. And I think for a number one contenders match, they should do Valentina versus Thug Rose Namajunas. It makes sense. Do not rebook Macy Barber. She fell out. She pulled out. Health issues. I get it. And that is that. Moving on. TRACY CORTEZ. TRACY CORTEZ should go back to beating tomato cans. TRACY CORTEZ is a half-guard camping smudge grappler who got to where she was simply because of her looks. TRACY CORTEZ is not good. Striking is abysmal, below average. TRACY CORTEZ is not a good fighter. 11-fight win streak off of beating absolute cans. Go back to fighting cans and leave the top of the food chain people alone. And that is that. Moving on. Drew Dober should fight Jared Gordon. It's been kind of hard for Drew Dober lately. Drew Dober has been kind of struggling. He fought Moicano, who kind of half-guard camped. If we're being honest, he got absolutely demolished by John Silva, who's moving up in a weight class after he just fought 2 weeks ago in high altitude right now. And he made it look easy, styled on you, an absolute virtuoso by him. I think you need we got to step down from competition a little bit. Drew Dober, you should fight Jared Gordon. Two guys are going to move forward, two strikers, going to be a fight of the night candidate. Those are the type of fights Drew Dober wants, and that is that. Moving on. John Silva should fight Josh Emmett. Fight of the year written all over it, even though I think he completely styles on Josh Emmett, makes it look easy. I honestly think he makes it look easier than how Ilya did. I don't think it goes the distance, even though Ilya had it like 50-42. I think he does a better job against Josh Emmett than we've ever seen. He styles on Josh Emmett, and he absolutely demolishes him. John Silva should and will fight Josh Emmett and will absolutely demolish him. This guy has the chance to be a 2-division champion. He's 27 years old. He could be champion at featherweight in the next 2 years. He's that good. John Silva, even at he can get fights at 155. Let's be fucking honest. John Silva is that good. We're talking about the fighting nerds. The fighting nerds are top of the food chain. Mauricio Ruffi, Carlos Prates, Caio Borralho, John Silva. Top of the food chain. He should fight Josh Emmett. Will absolutely style on him. And that is that. Gabriel Bonfim should fight Rinat Fakhretdinov. Either that or the rematch with Nicholas Dalby. But even though Rinat beat Nicholas Dalby in a controversial fight, I think the next fight for Gabriel Bonfim, even though he's only have one loss to Dalby, if they're not going to do the rematch, they should do him versus Rinat Fakhretdinov. I wouldn't call that a good fight. It's going to be a whole lot of reaching for the legs and trying to score points off a half guard and trying to score points off a clinching next to the cage or on the cage. It's going to be a boring fight, but if I'm Gabriel Bonfim and the UFC, if I'm playing matchmakers, it makes sense. Gabriel Bonfim versus Rinat Fakhretdinov, and that is that. Moving on. Christian Rodriguez, C-Rod should fight Charles Jourdain. They're coming off of losses. Christian Rodriguez, he missed weight in his last fight, which is why he won, a lot of people think. But fuck, man, this guy's he's good. That's the weird part. He's good. He did get fraud checked by Julian Erosa, who is a vet. I'm not going to do a fight for Julian Erosa. He is a veteran. Listen, we could give a shit who you fight next. Julian Erosa, just keep it up, bro. 2 guillotines in a row. The hood fucks with you, bro. We fuck with Julian Erosa, but Christian Rodriguez should fight Charles Jourdain next. They're on similar paths right now. A couple losses. Christian Rodriguez coming off this loss. man, the way he put his neck to the side and didn't fight the hands against a guy in Julian Erosa who has slick submissions, it just shows me the IQ's not all the way there. You need a check. We need to see if you're actually fraud check. Go fight Charles Jourdain, Christian Rodriguez versus Charles Jourdain. That is that. Moving on. Abdulrazak Al-Hassan and Cody Brundage. Who should they fight next? We don't care. We don't give a fuck who y'all fight next. But as long as Cody Brundage is not in the UFC, if I'm a matchmaker, Cody Brundage is cut. We're cutting Cody Brundage. He's a quitter. This is the second time he quit off of elbows to the back of the head. Even though I don't want to call Abdulrazak Al-Hassan a cheater, some of them were to the back of the head. But the absolute acting by Cody Brundage cut that guy. He acted like he couldn't see, acted like he didn't know what he was saying. I was about to say Julian Rosa. Cody Brundage, we're done with you, bro. It's time for you to pack your stuff, get the fuck out of here. I told everybody from the jump, you're an absolute can. When we look at can, the definition of can is Cody Brundage. Cody Brundage, get the fuck out of here. As far as Abdulrazak Al-Hassan, we could care less who you fight next. As long as it's a good fight. As long as you don't fight a smudge grappler. You're explosive. We give you that. You move forward. As long as it's like a fight of the night type of guy or somebody that's even a can like Cody Brundage, we're cool with it. But we could give a fuck who you fight next. We don't care. And that is that. Moving on. Joshua Van should fight Tadger Ulanbekov. Their fight has been canceled because Tadger can't make weight for the life of me. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to call him a cheater. I'm not going to call him PEDs, nothing. He just has trouble pulling out. Pulls out of some fights. The guy's struggling, but he should fight Tadger Ulanbekov, and he does bad things to Tadger. I'm talking about bad things. Joshua Van has great takedown defense. He has a great striking. His style reminds me of a little bit of Peter Yan, like their boxing, but like the first round, how he's just moving forward, building that data. He's like a Peter Yan type of fighter, but he has great takedown defense. Tadger Ulanbekov will absolutely get crushed, and I hate fights where the better fighter loses. Joshua Van is clearly better than Charles Johnson, but listen, we all get caught. Gilbert Burns just got caught by JDM. I think Gilbert Burns is levels ahead of him. Shit happens. Shit hits the fan. We all get caught, and that is that. Joshua Van, Tadger Ulanbekov. Moving on. Charles Johnson should fight Alex Perez. It's time we give this guy a ranked opponent. He's coming off 2 or 3 in a row. His style, I don't really like it. It's a whole lot of teep kicks. It's like, if you have a lot of power, I don't want you near me. That's why I thought he lost the first 2 rounds versus Joshua Van. The third round, he threw the kitchen sink at him, and he won. But it's time we give him a ranked opponent. I don't know Alex Perez, the timetable for him coming back, but I think Alex Perez would actually be a solid fight. I like Alex Perez, Charles Johnson. That's a good fight for both fighters. Alex Perez, you can't squat on your position. It's time for you to defend that position. You're coming off an injury. We'll see how that goes. Charles Johnson, Alex Perez, and that is that. For the final fighter, Montel Jackson. Montel Jackson should fight Pedro Munoz. Now, a lot of these guys, we got to give them fights like the Alex Perez fight for Montel Jackson. We got to give them leapfrogging fights. We got to check you. Like, there's certain fighters where I got to see you against Rob Font. I got to see you against Pedro Munoz. If you're on that level, you can be a guy like Pedro Munoz. Adrian Yanez wasn't on that level, hence why he lost to Rob Font. Montel Jackson, I would say Adrian Yanez, but I want to see Adrian Yanez, Payne Talbot. Montel Jackson, Pedro Munoz, it makes all the sense in the world. That's the best fight you can make right now. I don't know. Pedro Munoz is a point fighter. Montel Jackson's going to move forward straight down the pipe. Great fighter. And that is that. They call me MMA Gang. I played Matchmakers today. I'm Baby Dana White. And that is that. Like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend that the MMA Gang is in. And that is that.